I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition at Dexcom. So we've been growing extremely fast over the last 5 years. And so really there's high volume activity across all the recruiting segments. We've really accelerated through COVID and have kept up the volume and even increased it. Really, we've had very few ways of looking into a single talent network, and really wanted to shift some of that investment into active sourcing tools. So I'm a big science fiction buff, so I'm reading about AI almost every day. But for me, in terms of my practical use of AI, it actually started about 6 years ago. I was working at Qualcomm. We had an internal R&D team that was playing around with machine classifiers, machine learning, and they had built a tool called Sorting Hat for you Potter fans out there. And so it was actually a manual machine training tool where we could actually take data and we could train it up to say, this is good, this is not good. And we actually used it to look at whether we could train a machine classifier for experienced software engineers and also for new grad software engineers. And so that was a really interesting experience. Very manual though, very time intensive. Fast forward to today, we're basically using from an Eightfold perspective, the personalized career site, as well as the talent acquisition tools, and then some of the talent experience tools for internal mobility as well. I do think calibration is a really key piece of that insight, and not only that in terms of improving the matching, but really it improves the kind of the procedural justice of the AI, right? Everyone wonders what's in the algorithm, what's actually going on. And so if you can bring a hiring manager and a recruiter together to really look across and really help to train the machine on that individual basis as well, that's really important. And I think it also adds confidence in the recruiting team for the hiring managers to see that we have these tools at our disposal. It all comes down to one comparison, right? Searching versus matching. So in terms of the candidate experience, right? Instead of going into a website and looking for, searching for random terms that you think might be relevant to your background, or just literally just running through everything until you find something, you literally go in, upload your resume, and then you get a stack ranked set of jobs that actually match your background. And so, so from a candidate experience perspective, it's mind blowing. Literally, it's a couple clicks, and you have not only a set of jobs that look like they fit your background, but also descriptions why, down to the skill level. Other candidates have been hired from these similar companies with these similar titles, and so it really gives them it it just erases a lot of the information asynchronicity in that process, which is something that the candidates find it so hard to overcome. So for me, that's the key thing, and I actually have. I try to stay close to our candidates. And so I remember getting an email from someone saying, hey, I just want to get some guidance on how to apply for the right jobs. And I said, well, just use our system. It's going to tell you. And so we kind of had an email exchange, and I said, well, what did you think about the experience? Because it's fairly new. And he said, I specifically remember thinking that your career site's matching technology was very unique and novel when I did my first search. And it was the reason I was able to identify so many positions that I was a fit for so quickly. I was also extremely grateful that your career site does not require filling out all of your resume work experience into the application. So this was as an engineer who basically was able to quickly find the jobs that were relevant to him and apply. And so, things like that are why we've literally seen a 40% conversion of all website visitors into unique applicants. It's a no-brainer. Dexcom has been growing at about 40% revenue per year for a while now, and a little bit less than that from a headcount perspective. We're trying not to overcome that. But in terms of that, the internal mobility is huge for us. We've, from a process perspective, we've tried to make it easy for employees to at least reach out and apply to jobs and see if they're qualified. And we've tried to remove some of those, HR and manager notifications that get built into the process, really to unlock conversations that people need to have. And so we're also really getting close to implementing the internal mobility module from Eightfold, which is actually going to take, again, our ATS experience and turn it into something where an employee can go in, upload their resume, and actually see what internal jobs match their background. It's not career pathing, but it's kind of like quick and easy career pathing for employees to give them a sense of what jobs across the board they might match to, right? Not just in their specific business unit or department, but really where their skills apply across the company. And you couldn't do that before. You really couldn't. We've kind of reached that inflection point where matching makes a lot of sense, right, in terms of automating that. And so I think as we continue to move upstream, it's probably going to look like some sort of automated attraction, right? So not just sourcing, but the ability to go out and actively attract and prospect candidates based on AI, based on certain parameters that you set yourself. And then, of course, recruitment process or robotic process automation is something that we've been dabbling in. We just released our first bot last month to help with some of our very administrative onboarding processes. So we are the proud parents of a bot in our TA organization today. And I think that's going to really help in some of those high volume processes.